Welcome to a Skewed Chimp.
Some of you might recall from the last episode that I posted up that I'm working on this piece of walnut. It's the leftover piece of walnut from a previous project. And I'm trying to make some sort of glass out of it. Hopefully a shot glass, or maybe something else. But this is the project that I'm working on. It was going really well, and I had gotten it all the way down to finishing one side of it. And then I noticed this tiniest of scratches, either a tool mark or a sanding mark or something that was left in the finish after I got the finish applied. It was super irritating, but there's really no choice for me, at least in my mind, other than to go back and sand it out and try again, because I just don't want to have that scratch in there. So we'll pick it up with video from after I sanded out the scratch and was beginning to put the beeswax back on it. I gotta admit that part of me is pretty frustrated because I watch all of these other turners that are out there posting their videos, and they'll turn a complete object that's very elaborate, and they do all of the video work, and it makes it look like it takes them like 30 minutes, maybe an hour at the most. And I've been working on this thing for 2 weeks now. I will grant you that I have not been working on it nonstop for 2 weeks. I have to work on this project in my free time, so I don't have a whole lot of time to devote to this throughout the week. All the same, I feel like this is taking an inordinate amount of time. But then again, maybe this is just the way it goes when you're brand new. It's just that nobody really talks about that. Okay, so I don't know exactly what to do here. I had a better finish on this at first, and I don't know if maybe I ought to be doing it more or less or what. This is 3x speed because it's really not important that I mess around with this finish and never did figure out how to get it right. Now for the record, I'm really only that worried about this side because this side is not done yet. I'm going to be reversing this. But in any case, that's where we're at on this. There are lots of little lines in here, and I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure why that is the case. Maybe that's just the nature of it. And maybe it shows up better on camera. I don't know exactly. I don't know if I'm supposed to put that in harder or not. There is this other option. I'll just do this real quick to show you. If I push in real good, like that way, I get a pretty nice little satin finish on it, but it's satin. So if I'm looking to polish it up, I just want to do it lightly. And so that's how that went for quite a little bit, me just struggling with trying to get the finish right. But I think that looks pretty good. I don't know how to get it any better than that. I really truly don't. I don't know what you do. And I may have already put too much wax on it, but I don't think that's really possible. But parts of it look like it's wet and parts of it look like it's not. I don't know, does it dry? Do I need more? Do I need less? I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me out. I don't know if I need more or less or what. So you can see little splotches and stuff on it, but maybe I'm also being too meticulous. Maybe I'm being too detail-oriented here. No chance. Do it right or not at all. In any case, this is not supposed to be a masterpiece. This is supposed to be a finished glass or something. So yeah, you tell yourself that, buddy. Whatever helps you sleep. I am really curious about it, though, and I kind of need to stop playing with it, but I'm also thinking, am I doing something? Am I missing some individual critical step that's going to impact the finish of it? But I think it's time for me to move on with my life. So that's it for the finish on this side. I'm going to turn it around now. Okay, so I'm about to turn this around and see how hosed up this is and how pissed off I'm about to be. Spoiler, you're going to be pretty pissed here, Georgie boy. I'm going to undo this. Just messing with you. This is actually pretty workable. And so you can all see that right here is the crack, or where the jaws bit. into it. And so I'm just going to turn it around and try to mount it in here. Oh, I'll tell you what, that actually looks really nice, that finish. That looks gorgeous, doesn't it? Well, it looks better than the outside, but let's not get carried away here. There's something here, a little line here. I don't know if that's a tool mark or a grain mark or what it is, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's on the bottom. It does make me wonder what I did right on the bottom that I did not do on the sides here, though. I mean, because if you look at that, I got a much better surface on this than on this, and I'm not sure why. Anyway, here we go, guys. This is the moment. This goes in here. I'm going to very gently kind of just put it in there and look and see how far off it is. How far off of center? And the answer is almost none. So that's a pretty good sign. I don't want to be overly... I don't want to tighten it too much until I really have a chance to look at it. And I don't want to turn it on because I don't want to go flying. It's pretty loose in there. I'm just trying to estimate whether or not I need to make any adjustments. Because flipping this around is kind of tricky business. Alright, I think I need to tighten it up a little bit and give it a go on the lathe just to look at it. I'm going to adjust my belts and we'll give it a spin. Okay, so this is going to be turning at 360 RPM. Looks pretty good to me. It's not in there perfect, but it's in there pretty darn good, and it's good enough for my satisfaction. I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and square this up, or round it again. And yeah, I am going to tighten this in here a little bit more substantially now because I'm done dorking around with it. It's in here. It's in it to win it. And go ahead and get this side hollowed, get the mouth open, and get that line put in there so it's artistic, and kind of turn this to perfectly round, or at least as close as I can get it, and go ahead and finish it. So I will reposition the camera and we'll get to work. Okay, so this is the scary part for me, and this is the hardest part for me, is that I need to get in here with a bowl gouge and hollow this out. And that's going to be a bloody damn nightmare. Now, I was told to use a bowl gouge for ingrain, particularly on the stronger woods. And that's helpful. But as I showed you guys earlier in the video, I had reached out to Mike Walt because I saw him in his beginner's guide using a 3/8 inch spindle gouge, which is what I happen to have over here. This is a spindle gouge, so he was using a spindle gouge to do a little goblet. I was told to use this bowl gouge whenever possible because if the ingrain catches it, it'll snap a spindle gouge sometimes. Now, Mike was using a spindle gouge for his goblet, but I asked him about it and he was kind enough to answer me right away. And he said that in general he agrees with the advice that I was given about using the bowl gouge only in the end grain, and that I should be really careful about using a spindle gouge in that circumstance. But in his case, he wasn't going very deep. He was only going to use a little bit of the space, like a goblet, like an inch or two at the most, from, say, here to here. But that's actually about the size that I'm working with, too. And this is a heck of a lot easier This is a heck of a lot easier to work with than this. I mean, just the sheer size of these two things. So, yeah. But I'm going to try to use the bowl gouge. Okay, I've got my belts adjusted, and I've got it set to run at 2900 RPM because it's less than 2 inches, and so I'll be using a large bowl gouge in a tiny little space at 2900 RPM, praying that it doesn't get destroyed. This is the part that I'm absolutely the worst at. This part of the video is sped up to 3 times normal speed, so if you take that into account, you can see how slow and unsmooth these cuts were. Now, I will say that although this was a little bit choppy, from time to time I got really good cuts in on this project. As I got more comfortable, it even started to be a lot more fun, which of course is the goal. And then of course, the more comfortable you are, the faster you can go, just because it's smoother and you have a little bit more confidence. And that's a good thing, because it shouldn't take forever and a day to make a cup the size of a golf ball. So I gotta be honest with you, I'm pretty happy with how this is going so far. Wow, that's working. I got that one catch. I did not do too much damage, so I'm happy with that. I was going light, very light cuts. I'm okay with this. Okay, we're doing good. Let's keep going. I don't really have anything to add here, except that this is 3 times speed, if you're interested in that, and that this is about where it started to get pretty fun for me. I was really enjoying this. That's actually a really good thing, especially considering how stressed out I was about working in such a confined space. Honestly, taking a bowl gouge into something that's maybe 1.5 inches in diameter is not the best way to feel comfortable if you're brand new. Honestly, it's kind of stressful to try to put a bowl gouge 2 inches deep into something that's 1.5 inches in diameter and be able to try to manipulate it. It had me kind of stressed out, and so the idea that I was getting comfortable and I was actually enjoying myself instead of worrying about whether or not I was going to break my project is a good thing. Anybody that's watched this channel for any length of time knows that my failure pile is immense, and both of my victories are actually reclaimed failures. I don't have a whole lot of wins here. I feel like the Browns. You guys can't even see in there, so I'm going to stop recording this until I'm about done, because I can't get a better angle on this. But let me see if I can show you real quick. Whoa, whoa, easy does it. Let's not be breaking furniture. That's in there to about right. Where the hell's the pencil in perspective? So that's in there until about right there. So that's not bad. A fair bit in there. I'm making good progress. I'm going to move the camera out of my way because I need the angle, and you can't see in here anyway. I'm going to be blocking the shot. It's too small of a space. So I'm going to come back to it. And so I went to work on this for a little bit. And so, as you can see, there's nothing on the chuck anymore. There was a catch as I got down into it, and you can see the lines over here on this side. This is where the chuck was over here, and it slid, and it did a lot of damage on this side. I might be able to clean that up after the fact, but so much for my nice finishing work. In hindsight, what caused this was me trying to work with the bowl gouge for too long. I should have done exactly what I had talked to Mike Walt about, which was switch to using the spindle gouge. Or I should have switched to using one of the other tools that I had, like a parting tool or a scraper. I gotta keep pressing on, I think. Got a catch. That was the third catch, and it got in there pretty good. I don't know if you guys can. You can kind of see it back there in the top right of the bowl. I don't even know how that happened, except that I can't see back there. So I can't see in this small of a space. So I think that might have been where the catch was. Besides, it may have been, positioned thusly when it got caught. So it might have even been in the right spot. But we were doing pretty well until that moment. Son of a... And so I hate to leave this on a cliffhanger, but that's all I had time for. I will say that it's been an interesting learning experience to sit here working on something the size of a shot glass, or whatever it turns out to be, and having it take more than 2 weeks. At times it's been incredibly frustrating, but it's also been a lot of fun. And I'm definitely acquiring a little bit more understanding and respect, and even a little bit of awe for the actual masters of this craft. This is not just something that one picks it up and does it. This is a skill that requires practice and refinement. But even though that's the case, I am in fact still having fun. I know these videos don't move as quickly as some of the people watching them would like. And I know that it's unusual to just see a bunch of videos where somebody fails to complete the project they're working on. It does give me the opportunity to express my thanks, though, to those who have been mentors to me, whether they realize it or not, and to my friends that have been supportive of me and who've been hanging out in my garage or who are up late at night while I'm working on my videos. I'll keep working on this, and maybe part 3 can be the last part for this project. I guess we'll find out. Until then, I wish you well.